Hello, welcome to the Land of Yak Yak. My name is Laurel. In my last video, I was going over some of my original McGuffey compliment notebooks, and I said I would, if people were interested, go over some paragraph writing techniques and tools that you might be helpful if your student's ready for the paragraph level of writing. And I was specifically going to try to do it in the pages of my second reader companion notebook. And I did a video where I touched on some of these things. I actually just tweaked it today, like this morning, and put a new file up in the Etsy shop, and I updated the Amazon version. So if you've already bought this from me and you want my slightly tweaked pages, let me know. Message me through Etsy and I can get you an updated file. All right, so I've got my weekly schedule here. Okay, so say they're read their passage. You can write down what passage they're on and what date, and discuss, what was in here, and ask these kind of questions like, is there a genre? Is this a fiction or nonfiction? What do you think the author's purpose was? If this is the kind of writing where there's characters, I've got 2 spots for evaluating the protagonist and the antagonist. Is it fact and opinion, compare and contrast, right? There's just different, looking for figurative language, lots of things that you can choose to focus on. You don't have to do them all at one time. You can just introduce one at a time as you see them coming up in the lessons. So I would have the kids copy from the passage list and define it. That's these here, right? You can focus on which ones they don't know. Here's another page about discussing the passage, going over different types of elements. I like these questions that they give, but at this age, I'm just kind of having them answer them orally, right, during reading time with me. Okay, so let's get into the writing components. So let's say you're making your language arts program, you want to read and write, right? So you could just be doing copy work. I still like to encourage copy work at this age because I still like to be practicing handwriting and giving close attention to that, and using copy work to point out grammar and formatting. So I'm still encouraging 1 page of copy work. You can do whatever you want. It's your kid, right? Though I also think this is a great day to do something like this, right? To do my sentence scaffolds, or I also have stories and grammar if you feel like they're ready for that. So I think that you could do a lot of other things with your McGuffey reader if you don't want them just doing copy work. I also love the Gentle Grammar series, and those are great for if you don't feel like you have the energy to teach something like paragraph writing or sentence writing yourself. Those are open and go as long as they can read the instructions, understand the instructions, and so, as long as you're able to check the work when they're done, which is very simple. It's a really great, solid program. And you can still be focusing on handwriting during that time and stuff. So I think you could use this page for, copy work or some kind of grammar or something. I like to have the sentence stems. So we're reading the passage every day, right? And then from my experience, I'll pick 3, something to start them off and get them writing their own sentence, right? Okay, so then we get to copy work, grammar, or paragraph. You can continue if you want them just to do copy work, that's fine. If you want them to do another grammar lesson, right, from any of your sources of grammar, or if you're ready for them to write paragraphs, perhaps. And there's 2 pages for that, and then there's a writing rubric at the end. This will help you if you want to correct it, know what to look for. It also helps the kids to know what readers, what they need, and so what you'll be checking for. All right, so let's go over. Now, if you wanted to, because I kind of roughly, each reading passage, I have a rough weekly schedule. And of course, you can accommodate however you want, but that's how I planned it. If you wanted them to be, if they were to the point, because with 88 lessons or 85 lessons or whatever that reader is, that's going to stretch over, if you did 1 a week, that's over 1 school year, right? That's probably a little closer to 2. You might start at the beginning of the reader doing, copy work and grammar exercises. And then by the time you're halfway through or so, look what they're reading now. It's quite a bit longer. I love the questions that they have at the end. I love those discussion questions. So you could be having them do a multi-day paragraph writing process. So you could just start it from this day if you wanted, or you could do, you could have them do 1 grammar day or 2 grammar days and 1 paragraph writing. I mean, it just depends on you, but I wanted to go over I just want to make sure that they are getting some grammar instruction personally. Now, I think the current research is that kids do better with grammar when it's not taught just like in isolation, when it's within writing. So if you have a kid that's in the second reader and you want them to be starting to learn how to write paragraphs, you can just, teach them grammar concepts just alongside their writing. I would just focus on like one grammar topic a week or even like a month or something, and you teach it to them and then just make sure that they're applying it in their writing. But let's go over some paragraph writing instruction that I enjoy. I picked this stuff up just from looking through multiple paragraph writing resources and things online, and just kind of snowballed. Lately, I've been reading The Writing Revolution, and there's a section on paragraph writing in there. So I'm going to show you my favorite concepts to teach. Okay, so number 1 is the brainstorming process. You have to know what you're going to write on, first of all, so you're going to need a prompt. So if you want to, I think that if you're working with the reader itself, that's like a really great prompt to just say like whatever they're talking about. Like, what is this one called? The Little Boy and the Hatchet. What if you wrote something about the little girl and the sewing needle, or the man and the wrench, right? Like, you could just take any type of inspiration from the reader itself and let them go from there. If you've been using these charts, you've already been talking about point of view and plot structure, if it's kind of like a story. And there are other types of, I feel like a lot of times in education, they're focusing on teaching expository writing because that's mostly what people will be doing in life, right? As their academic career progresses, even when they are in the workforce, you're not usually writing stories, right? Unless so if you want to do like a creative writing unit or whatever, that would be fun too. What I'm going to mostly walk you through today is more on the expository side of writing. But, they do have stories in there, so feel free to have fun with that. So if you come up with a brainstorm, you give them a prompt. If you have something else you want to prompt them on, it could be something from the reader as inspiration, but you could also use anything else they're studying. Like, what if you wanted to use this time to write on what they're learning about in history or science, or some kind of writing practice to reinforce their learning in other subjects. I love that too. So let's say we happen to also be learning about on meteors versus meteorites. So let's say they've been reading about that in science or something. I'm the author now, right? So the author's purpose. And if you want, you can like Google author's purpose, and it's to inform, usually persuade, or entertain. So meteors versus meteorites, you're probably not writing to entertain people. Probably not trying to persuade anybody about anything about them. So it's probably going to be to inform, right? Think, okay, I've got my subject, right? My purpose is to inform my reader. I'm gonna ask myself, what kind of text structure lends itself the best to informing? So do I want to, here's a couple of different text structures, right? So there's description, problem, and solution, compare and contrast, cause and effect, or sequence. So which one of these text structures is going to best support my purpose of informing my reader about meteors and meteorites? So I see right away description might work, right? compare and contrast. If you have two things, how they alike, how are they different? That's a really obvious one. Cause and effect or sequence. So I would say probably compare and contrast. Right? Pick that text structure that's going to fit your writing best. Okay, so then my next step would be to create so get prompt, author's purpose, pick a text structure, kind of think about that number 4. I would say to do a brainstorm web. So you know a brainstorm web, right? So you've got your main idea, meteors versus meteor ites. That's my topic. Keeping in mind, I'm going to compare them and contrast them. So let's start brainstorming a little bit. Let's try to do a minimum of 4 main points. Main point, okay, 1, 2. And they don't have to be in any order at this point, right? But let's say I want to talk about size, origin, maybe anything historic that's happened, a historical record, and I don't know, maybe frequency, like how common each type is. And then this is right. These are my main point. Oh, I also probably just want to do we need to probably for these definitions, right? So I've already brainstormed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I would try to brainstorm as many things as you can. I would try to do at least 4. And then from these, you're going to do your supporting details. Try to get at least like 2 supporting details, right? And if this is a topic they've been reading about or researching, they can look back at their reading about it or whatever, or look something up. So we've got supporting detail 1, supporting detail 2. Supporting detail 1, supporting detail 2, supporting detail 1, supporting detail 2, supporting detail 1, supporting detail 2, right? So all your main points always have to refer back to they have to all make sense in regards to your topic sentence, which we haven't written yet, but just something to think about. Right now we're just gathering our information, correct? And once you get all your information, I would think about my topic sentence. So this could be super simple when they're starting out. They don't have to make anything fancy for their sentences, okay? They don't need to be fancy. What we're just trying to do is collect our thoughts, just organizing information, because they can rewrite things and they can add things and they can tweak things later, but we're trying to get our structure down, right? So topic sentence number 5. Let's say it's just something, we're just introducing our subject matter. Meteors and meteorites are often confused by the general public. In your topic sentence, you can make it into 2 if it makes more sense to have 2. They actually differ and compare substantially. Even if it feels a little clumsy, it's not the most beautiful, eloquent sentence or sentences. It's okay. Just have them just get it out. And I think that's a great first day of writing for your paragraph. I think that's perfect. Place to stop. They've brainstormed. So after they do all this, have them consider their topic sentence. And they can do this the same day or maybe the next day. And I would have them, if there's anything that was just weak, it wasn't that interesting, let's say we're like historic. Maybe there was a historic meteor that once hit Earth, or a shower or something like that. Let's say you're like, that doesn't quite fit as well with my topic sentence. It's as the other elements. So maybe you cross out one that you think is, there was information that I knew about the subject in general, but it doesn't quite match up with my topic sentences neatly. So you can go ahead and just cut it out. Now I'm going to decide what order, right? So first things first, I'm obviously going to want to define those terms first. And then see what is the major difference between meteors and meteorites? It's usually their size. It's like then maybe their origin, like where do they come from, right? What are they made of? 3. Frequency. What if I was like, yeah, probably not as important. I can probably take that one off too. Okay, so you still want to have for one paragraph, I'd say a minimum of 2 main points. So 2 to 3 main points, minimum of 2. So good. I've got 3 main points. I've got a topic sentence, 2 supporting details. I didn't write them out, obviously, but you can write them out. Okay, so we're doing more. This is like a different day. They're doing their sentence stems for their reading passage. Then we're back to our writing assignment. We go to our writing block of time for the day. All right, so from our brainstorm, we are going to make a keyword outline. Keyword outline. All right, so the first thing I would do is I would recopy my topic sentence. And sometimes the kids have been thinking about it for a day and they've got a better sentence, and it's fine if they rewrite it. So maybe they say, do you know how to spot the difference between a meteor and a meteorite? Once they get their general structure down, the keyword outline is a good day to give them little writing tips. Like a good topic sentence, it's nice if you've got a hook at the beginning, and a question always makes for as an easy way to hook somebody into reading. So keyword outline is how it sounds. It's words, right? And so there's a topic sentence, and then you're going to have basically your main points and your supporting detail. Supporting detail 1, supporting detail 2, right? So what was your main point? Your main point for number 1 you want to start with is a definition. So I'm actually going to put my words over here. So definition, and then my supporting detail would be, I'm going to define a meteor, and I'm going to define and I put meteorite, right, under the definitions. Another main point. Number 2, size, right? My supporting detail 1, supporting detail 2. So I'm doing a compare and contrast. So I want to keep that in mind. That was my original. So how are they alike? How are they different? And then their origins, another main point. I'm going to speak about the origins. Supporting detail 1, supporting detail 2. So how are they alike in their origins, and how are they different? Right? And then you need to come up with a conclusion sentence. So you've got your keywords. Just ask yourself right now, is this going to be like a summary, a reiteration of the topic sentence, or a call to action? There's not really much that you can call to action, but you can, I would harken back to how we were asking a question up here. Do you know how to spot the difference between a meteor and a meteorite? So it can just be something as simple as, and now you know the difference between these space rocks. All right, so you've got your keywords here, which, when you're doing their web, they're probably just doing the same thing, just like the words, just basic words and notes. Now I would have them go ahead and work on writing these into sentences. All right, how to the naked eye, a few shooting stars may not look different. I probably should have skipped lines, but right? And they're going to give the definition of meteor, the definition of meteorite. Then you're going to compare them by size and by origin, whatever, right? So you're going to let the kids just work actually on the sentence level. And I kind of like having them separate, like sentence by sentence. I think it makes them easier to look at. But just get their basic, simple sentence down to get the structure. Let's say they've got their simple sentences written down. They're probably going to get some feedback from you. They're going to show you. You're mostly looking for that they make sense, that they're following their brainstorm web, right? That all of their main points harken back to the topic sentence, and all their supporting details harken back to their main points. So you're just kind of making sure that those, and that the conclusion sentence, right, it stays on topic. You want to make sure that they're staying on topic and that they don't stray like too far off the main topic that they're talking about. Okay, so let's say they've got all their sentences written out and you've given them their feedback, and maybe they've got back, they've made some like little notes or changes, right? It's like the revision kind of process. So that's good. You're working on the sentence level for that day. And as time goes on, you can work on, at that point, making those sentences better and better, using more precise language. One of my favorite tips is to use, instead of using more adjectives, use a better noun, a more specific noun. So yeah, vocabulary, you can work on that there. You can work on combining sentences, making more complex sentences. But yeah, that's just stuff you can work on like over time, but just to get you going, right? So now you know the difference between space rocks. All right, so then like the next day, put it into paragraph form. So this could be, this could be rough draft or final draft, like rough draft / final draft, whatever. So now you want to make sure that they're writing it in proper form. It's nice if they skip lines so that, because this time you are going to check for like spelling, and you can start teaching them your editing marks and stuff. It's a paragraph, so let's give it a title: meteor or meteorite. All right, they're gonna write their name and the date, right? And then they're gonna start with their hook topic sentence, right? Do you know the difference between a meteor and a meteorite? All right, and then you got their sentences, blah, 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 right? I should have skipped lines, oops. Now you are a space rock connoisseur, right? It's always really helpful. Have them like read it out loud to themselves before they turn it into you, right? Then you can give them a final grade using this. And this will kind of help you pick out something to work on for the next time. So you always start with the most simple, basic stuff first, right? Like convention, like, you forgot your title. Make sure you don't forget to put your title on next time. Write a title, spelling, handwriting and spacing, punctuation and grammar. Those are like the basics. Sentence fluency, varying sentence lengths. These are things that you can start like layering into their instruction over time. So try to have most of your sentences are going to be mid-length, but try to punctuate it with some very short ones and some very long ones, like get some complex sentence practice in there. You don't want super choppy or run-on sentences though. And make sure that all the sentences are complete sentences. The organization, there's a clear beginning, middle, and end. Using transition words when that's helpful. Students use an opening and closing sentence, right? Our topic sentence and our conclusion. Yeah, more precise and interesting words. We want their voice. We don't want it to sound like a robot talking. We want it to sound like a human, like with their voice to come through. There is a clear topic or main point. The composition stays on topic. Points and ideas are clearly explained and supported by descriptive details or facts. Right, and we basically did this. We basically did the pre-writing when we did all of our like brainstorming day. Drafting, so that would be doing like our, when you made your keyword outline and then you did all this, you drafted the sentences and then you wrote like a rough draft. Revising and editing is usually happening when the parents are checking the work. You can rewrite if you want to. Publishing, I call it publishing when like if they typed it up and handed it in or something. I don't worry too much about that in like maybe just a couple times a year. I have them, if something looks really good, like we get to their like, they do put it in paragraph form and stuff. And I'm like, that was actually a really good paragraph. Let's go ahead and let's type that up. Let's publish that one. And you can add it to their portfolio or whatever. But I know my kids love getting to do that because they like to pick a font and color, and I let them put like visual aids along with it and stuff. Okay, so that's just one example. I'm sorry, it wasn't like the most complete and best example. So let's just go through that really quickly. Again, like what were the components? Came up with some kind of writing prompt, whatever you want them to do. Author's purpose, text structure that would best support your purpose. Brainstorm, I like a brainstorm web. Write your topic sentence, even if it's clunky, just get it out. A keyword outline based off of your web. Sentence writing based off of your keywords. So write it sentence by sentence and examine those sentences to make sure that they're quality. Oh, and write your conclusion sentence that day. Then put it into paragraph form. I like it double spaced, skipping a line so that I can give editing notes and things back. And your writing rubric, if it's really good, you can have them publish it, like type it up and have fun with that. Okay, I hope that was helpful. You can do that really. You don't have to have my little notebook to do that, but I wanted to show you how it would fit into my second reader companion notebook pages. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.